Xbox gives us some insight into their launch sales figures for Xbox Series X and S, and some interesting statistics get shared for Xbox Game Pass. Welcome everybody and thank you for joining me. So it has been almost a week since the official launch of the Xbox Series X and S consoles. I hope everyone who wanted one was able to get their hands on their console of choice, but with the console now officially on the shelves, everyone wants to know how many did they sell. Xbox wrote in a blog post where they had the following to say regarding sales: thanks to you, the launch of the Xbox Series X and S is now the most successful debut in our history. While we missed the emotional spark of being together with you in person, it was incredible to celebrate a new generation of gaming with millions of our celebration livestream and everyone who participated in our global launch across 40 countries. Now obviously with that statement there is no official number attached to it, but I do have some actual predictions for you based on the Xbox One launch figure. In 2013, Xbox also had their biggest launch in history with sales figures of just over 1 million consoles sold worldwide. Based on those numbers, sales for the current generation consoles are estimated to be around 1.2 million consoles sold minimum. Unfortunately, that is the closest that we are going to get to an actual number, because Phil Spencer had the following to say in his interview with The Guardian regarding figures. I know it seems manipulative and I apologize for that, but I don't want my team to focus on console sales. The primary outcome of all the work that we do is how many players we see and how often they play. That is what drives Xbox. If I start to highlight something else both publicly and internally, it changes our focus. Things that lack backwards compatibility becomes less interesting. Putting our games on PC becomes the reason somebody doesn't have to go and buy an Xbox Series X. I'll hold fast to this. We publicly disclose player numbers. That's the thing I want us to be driven by, not how many individual pieces of plastic did we sell. He then goes on to say that he will not disclose those numbers even if they do beat Sony in sales. Now to be honest, I would like for them to reveal those type of sales numbers. It's just because I'm always curious about those things, but I do understand why they don't want to do that. I also suspect that those numbers will be leaked anyway, but Xbox also had a few other interesting things to say regarding sales. First of all, more consoles were sold than any prior generations, with Xbox Series S adding the highest percentage of new players for any Xbox console at launch. Now I'm not entirely sure how to interpret that, other than the fact that it looks like that console is the hit that we always thought that it would be. I'm not sure if this means that they sold the most consoles or that they add the most players through Game Pass. I believe that it is the second one, and that those numbers are due to the fact that the console does not have a disk drive. As I've said previously, this console will determine how we game in the future. If this all digital console does well, we can say goodbye to the disk drive for good. Then they also go on to say more games played, 3,594 in total, spanning 4 generations, setting a record for most games ever played during an Xbox console launch. And I have to say I definitely fall under that category for sure. Going back and playing some of those old titles again, or for the first time, many of which looks and play best on the Xbox Series X and S, is great. Then lastly, this is probably the most important figure, at least for Xbox. Next gen means more ways to discover and play. 70% of Xbox Series X and S consoles are attached to new and existing Xbox Game Pass members, and that is massive but also expected. Out of everyone who bought a new console, 70% of them got Game Pass, and I'm willing to bet that a lot of those comes from the Xbox Series S. Also, as I've said before, Xbox Game Pass is a massive console seller. It is a great service to have for those who cannot afford $70 per game. If you have an Xbox, you cannot go wrong with Game Pass. It is the best value in console gaming. Before Game Pass, I was pretty much just a Steam sales scavenger. But on that note, this is where I'm going to end it. So if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button. If you would like to see more videos like this, please consider subscribing. And as always, please remember to stay safe, wash your hands, don't touch your face, and I hope to see you again soon.